Come along. Let's go. What if I told you that some of the biggest profits in real estate is made in pre-construction? As a matter of fact, before the property or the building actually breaks ground.
I would believe that.
Yeah. And that's why you find that most investors, they plug into pre-construction a lot. I'm even saying before you even get to know about it, before the marketing team even start marketing it to you.
To you.
That's like, you are probably like on the second level. There are people who are on the first level. Just when the conversation is just going on, they probably subscribing to
jumped in already.
And that comes at a very discounted price, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll definitely believe that.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, speaking about pre-construction, do you also know that if your property is supposed to close, let's say in 2026, for instance, next year, December, you can act there. There are banks that will give you a pre-approval as early as January of 2026.
Oh, wow.
So God forbid, let's say
you lose a job.
Someone loses a job, exactly, especially in this whole layoff season and all that. Someone loses a job like 3 months before.
The layoff
closing.
is like a new normal. Just like we had.
I mean, it's crazy. But even though they lose a job 3 months before closing, it wouldn't matter anymore because you already got the closing like a year
secured
in advance. But most people don't know that. People just usually wait till when the builder tells them, "Oh, get ready, start preparing your mortgage and your closing documents," and then they try to start getting the mortgage, which is fine. It's okay. I'm just saying you can take a precautionary measure by getting your pre-approval done way ahead of time.
I mean, so many information, right? And if you want to get so much of juice of that, I mean, you need to reach out to us to help you unlock those potentials.
Well, the plug. We'll put you connected.
I like
we'll
that. The plug.
The real estate plug.
Okay. Great. Welcome back again to your real estate journey.
Yes, sir.
Where we help Canadians, to unlock wealth, to build wealth through real estate, property. And I'm your host again today, Nasser. Oh.
And Joe, it's okay. We can switch names. That's fine.
Why am I calling you Nasser? Why am I calling myself Nasser? I've gotten so used to you.
Yeah, that's good. I've got used to you as well.
No, but your name is not Nasser anymore.
What's my name?
You know something about life is the fact that time is very, very critical.
This guy.
Okay? And I tell people the biggest currency you have is your time.
True.
I mean, things can change overnight.
Yeah.
You just can't ever tell. You just can't ever tell what could happen to you, right? And then one of such things is the fact that you could actually go to bed as a married man and then wake up before the day ends to become a father.
Awesome. Thank God. I didn't know where that was good. I thought you say you wake up divorced.
No. So you could go to bed still being called just a married man.
Right.
And then by the following day, your status changes and you become a father.
Awesome. God is good.
Higher responsibility. Yeah. And which is why a shout out to my brother.
Thank you.
The newest father in the whole of Canada.
Thank you.
Right. So my very good brother here just, became a father some couple of weeks ago. And I'm excited to be part of that journey with you.
So now we will call you Uncle Joe.
Right.
Uncle Joe is the new title now.
And I'm going to call you Daddy Toby.
Awesome.
Or Daddy Nathaniel.
We love it.
Anyone.
We love anyone.
Right?
All goes. Everything goes.
And maybe we'll kickstart our podcast today with that. So thinking about, that life, right? There's a lot of things that you have to adjust. Your schedule. People say your sleeping life also changes. Yeah. If you're someone that likes sleeping, you probably have to live on a different life entirely. So how's it been for you?
It's been amazing for sure. It's the kind of feeling where you just feel like nothing else really matters anymore. You just want to just be with your family 24/7 if possible. But obviously we need to be here, right, to give value to everyone. And obviously we have businesses that we're running. So but you just want to be with your family 24/7. Sleepless nights. Shout out to my wife. She's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Shout out to you, wife.
Shout out to my wife. She's doing a lot of heavy lifting. But basically now, like, everything revolves around that boy now, really. Everything revolves around him. Because once he calls, everybody has to answer. You see like 3 or 4 people, even my mother-in-law. Everyone just coming, rallying around. And my mom is coming soon as well. So
that song? Amazing. The moment she calls. I don't know. That's the only part I know. I see like on people use it on reels, and I'm like, I don't know what it means.
It's like a training song or something.
Yeah, it's a song, but that's the part I know. The moment she calls, and that's all. So don't abuse me, right? I don't get to know so many things, right? But I think that's the beauty of passion.
Yeah.
Right. Looking at your current situation, and you're still passionate about getting these videos out, to our audience, to keep educating and share information with them. Right. I think that's very exciting to know that, being able to manage that and still having that zeal to say, what, I have people, I hold these people information. Yes. It's a commitment I've made, and I have to keep to it. Right. So we're people of honor, as you can see. Right. We keep to our words. Right, by the help of God.
Yes, thank God. We thank God.
All right.
So let's get into it. Let's get into it today. Pre-sale and new construction or pre-construction property. I think that's the biggest conversation or topic that has been coming up recently with the clients we've been meeting with and things like that. So I guess maybe I'll let you start in terms of like what is resale, what is pre-construction, why does it matter? Like, what's the difference to those two things? Maybe you can help us educate the audience on this.
Okay, for sure. I mean, just by the name itself, pre-construction means something that happened, something you get into. Pre-construction means before it is constructed.
It's constructed, awesome.
Pre-sale means post-construction.
Right. Or resale, sorry.
I mean, resale means post-construction.
Right.
I mean, basically, that's from a layman.
That's been sold before.
And then you're reselling it. Just like you have cars that have been, second-hand cars, as we call them.
So are you saying people are buying second-hand homes? This guy just this people's houses. He said you're living in a second-hand
no, that's not what I'm just giving an illustration to bring you home for people to understand.
Fair enough.
Right. So we'll talk about pre-construction is when you're buying into a property that is yet to be built.
Right.
It's more like a promissory note. Right? To say, we will build this property for you. You see the picture, the architecture, everything is probably like a dummy, right? But in some cases, they have, what do we call them again?
Model homes.
Model homes where you could go in and, have a feel of what it looks like. Now, the interesting part with the model home is also a little very tricky.
Because you went to one recently,
yeah, right? I went to one that I shared. And, with a model home is, they bring the best to you.
Absolutely.
Like the premium of that, that package in terms of if they are building like 50 kind of homes, they won't all be the same.
Right.
Different lot sizes. Some are going to be 40, 32. Even the design is going to be very different, right? So when you go for those showings, you see those model homes, and you can it's direct for you to imagine yourself in a new home where everything is shining, bling bling.
You can see everything. I guess it invokes those emotions in the buyer to try to get that kind of property. Yeah. But I think there's an issue I have, right, with the industry, and please, I ask for your forgiveness for the building industry in advance of this, right, is that not every builder does model homes, and I don't know why. I feel like every builder it should be a prerequisite to do a model home.
But I think it's because of the timing. Right? Because for a model home is basically we build. I mean, because that house is going to be sold, right?
True.
As a resale.
Yes.
Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of time. For builders, it's about we want to optimize. I mean, quickly,
what we're doing.
We want to get. I mean, we have a design already. We have the land. We've gotten approval already. And think about the fact that, I mean, probably to even get started, probably they might have been on this for like 2 years.
Sure.
With the government,
or longer,
bureaucracy,
knowing
getting approval,
5 years,
submitting your architectural design, coming back and forth, building code, and I mean, before you even get started, right? So for a builder to then
do all of that
for just one house,
got you.
It's a lot of work, right? So for them,
value to I feel it's of massive value to the buyers. So buyers know what they are getting into. I'm more inclined to go to places that have model homes already, because you can kind of see like the the quality of the build, to know what this.
To have an idea of the taste of what it.
Aside from the ones that we know already have like made names, like those builders that have like made names.
We're not sponsoring anybody, right? We're not mentioning names. If you want us to sponsor you, you reach out.
Or we'll gladly put you put an ad for your property on this video. Yeah. Okay, but I see that's just a thought that I had, that it would be nice for every builder to have model homes, and maybe we should start recording homes for our viewership.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you think so, if you feel you want to, like, guys, let's see homes. Let's see.
Would that be of value to you?
Put in the comment section. Let's see. Let's get what you want to say, right? And you could also follow us, on Instagram, at Realtor Joe Adesanya.
That's at one,
and then our podcast at YRJ Podcast. You can reach out. Let's spend some time to talk. Let's have to chat, one-on-one chat. Review your situation and be able to give a customized approach. Absolutely. Right. So follow us, subscribe to this, click on the subscribe button. like, share, post, and keep sharing with everyone, right? So back to the conversation.
Yeah.
So I also feel that, if you look at the market for a builder, the first thing they think about is, we talk about quality, right? Which is why where your realtor comes in to really help us to sit down with you, have this conversation with you in terms of, that's for those that don't have the model home. And
Right.
be able to give you, because there'll be an architectural design. A project that will still be designed, on flyers, on papers, on magazines. On,
Yep. They give you all their brochures.
all the brochures.
Those things
right?
look so nice.
Right, exactly. And
If you focus on just the brochure alone, you buy
sold.
you buy every house.
So think about it that
Yeah.
way, right? And for builders, it's a function of, cost and benefits. To say we're not building a model home, all we're doing is just, brochure, and
Right.
people are buying.
Yep.
Why do I need to
Build a whole
build a
house.
home, build a whole
Got you.
house,
Got
right?
you.
So it's kind of like we don't see, but we have builders who are very, very intentional,
Right.
Right? They know they're going to they will unlock the value.
Now everybody's putting up model homes now
Do you understand?
because of the way the market
is right. So it kind of it makes a difference, right? So I think it's really more of the timing. They
Yeah.
really want to get these houses out in the market. As against spending it's a lot of time to build one house just for people to come in and see. We could just do the brochure, have an idea. If you want to have more information, come into our presentation centers where
Yep.
they have, they talk to you, give you an idea. Some even do
They tell
this-
you about the
crafts.
community and
Some do the
everything.
mold craft
Yes,
and they just walk you
yes.
through. But again, the model home is better because as against the craft building, you get to see an actual
physically
property,
walking through the
what
property,
it is.
yeah.
And I think the beautiful thing about the model home again is the fact that it helps us see with the various upgrades. Right? In case what you want is probably the budget cannot afford what you can see from the model home, right? You can pick and choose to say, okay, I want this. I think I'm already talking about the benefits of it.
Yeah, so okay, so
of
let's continue on that train of thought, right? And let's talk about pre-construction. So I think we should start from the financing first. How the financing for pre-construction is different from the financing from buying a resale or used property, like Joe said.
I didn't say you. I said second hand.
You said second. Okay, same thing. So used properties. You're accusing our buyers of buying used properties, but it's fine.
That's
It's
not
okay.
what I said.
It's okay.
So if you look at maybe you want to take
so the financing part. I think the key thing for financing is that for a pre-construction property, there's a higher likelihood that you put down a higher down payment.
Yeah.
Right. So for a property that is already built, you can put down a minimum of just 5% down.
Even with the new new laws that was made last year.
That was made. So you can just put down 5% down on the property, so which is fine, right? Then obviously aside from that down payment, you have your closing costs. So let's just say an additional maybe between 1% to 4% of the purchase price,
Which is applicable to both.
in addition to your
But
down
then that's
payment.
applicable to both.
Yeah,
Either for
it's
the
applicable to
pre-construction-
both. But then the pre-construction one, the difference is that they would usually ask you for usually the list you would see is 10% down.
Yeah.
And then as high as 20% down.
Yeah.
So they ask you for a lump sum of, let's say, 25,000. Like Joe said, once you sign the contract, 25,000. Then in the next 30 days, you put out on that 10,000. In another
They'll create
60 days. So
a
they create
structure
a
for
payment
you.
structure
A
for
payment
you,
structure
right?
for you.
So it accumulates to maybe a total of 10% or a total of 20%.
Is it flexible? Is there adjustments? Even though they have it, can let's say probably I pay this month, and then the next payment schedule I'm not able to make it up, right? Or my money is gone.
So I would say cash is king. I'll say cash is king, right? When you're coming with cash, you call the shots for the most part, right? If you come in with $100,000 check, and let's assume they have a payment structure, then they can make
be
things
flexible, modify things.
exactly, and work with you, because they also want you to buy as well, as long as that's what you want, right?
And I think if you come with cash as well, you could even negotiate the property cost itself, because they're coming with a huge amount of money.
It's difficult. I hardly see that happen, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
I would say that would happen if, let's say, a family is buying multiple properties. Then that might be an option. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So what in fact, in most cases, you're not even paying. You're not bringing like the cash just so they don't call the cops on you. Right? You're coming with a certified check.
Yeah.
So and you give the checks beforehand. So you write a check today that's cashable by like in the next 2 days or whatever, 25,000. Boom. Then you write the other check for 10,000. You write
months.
the entire
Like a
post-dated checks,
yeah.
exactly, and you give them upfront. So that shows that you're putting like a lot more money upfront, because your builder is using that money as collateral to borrow money from the bank to build everybody's properties, right? For that whole subdivision or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's basically how it works for the financing part.
So the question people get to ask me is, at what point does the bank come in, right?
For you as a buyer?
For a pre-construction.
That's a great question. So some builders will ask you to get a pre-approval. Like we always stress the importance of a pre-approval.
Absolutely.
You should know. If you don't know what a pre-approval is, please go to the previous videos we've posted.
As a matter of fact, the second episode,
exactly,
we touched so much on it.
On that, exactly. So go to that. But anyways, a pre-approval just basically says, okay, this is the amount you can afford that the bank is willing to give you as a mortgage, right? So now builders will ask for that upfront. The reason for that is they want to make sure that you can close on this property. They're not in the business of keeping houses to themselves. They want you to buy it, and they just want to give it to you and get rid of it, right? So they want to see that you can actually carry this and you can close on this property. So they might ask you for that upfront. If you're lucky, if you work with some other builders, might not ask you.
Yeah, they just want to. They want to deal with you. I mean, they assume that it is you and the bank that
exactly.
got issues.
My
own is just give me my down deposit and keep making your instrumental payments.
Simple.
Closing dates. You're on your own. If you cannot close, your money goes.
Exactly.
Your money is floating in the air.
Because if you don't mention that's a very, very good point. You lose your money, all your deposits. And also they can come back to sue you if you don't close, right? There's some legal repercussions, right, for not closing on that property. So please be careful.
And you hear things like buyer take back.
Exactly.
Right? They want to, your money is gone. They're taking back the property and then they put it on the market.
And if they don't sell it for the price that you bought it for,
the difference,
they can come back to you for the difference, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of, what the thing about pre-construction, the pre-approval is, like we mentioned, for a pre-approval, for a pre-construction, there are some banks that would give you, this is a tip, that would give you that pre-approval a year before the property even closes. So even before shovels are in the ground, you can get your pre-approval done. So God forbid if you lose your job 2 months before the actual closing, it doesn't make a difference for you because you already got your firm approval a year ahead of time. So reach out to us for that and we'll...
Oh, wow, that's a great
we'll
hack.
give that to you. I think most people don't know about that, but yeah. We've done this before, so...
Yeah. So the thing with pre-construction, it does have its pros and cons, right? But I think for me, the pros kind of outweigh the cons. Which is why I tell my clients, we need to do some visibility study. We need to study the market, right? As beautiful as pre-construction is, it's a brand new house, which is some of the advantages of it. It's a brand new house. Everything is brand new. Like, it's never been used. It's not, it's never been used. It's pretty brand new, coupled with some other things like the Tyrion warranty that we're going to get into as well. So that's like, for me, that's the biggest pro for me.
Yeah, people love new properties.
It's brand new, right? It's pretty very new. Everything is crystal. It's just like when you buy your brand new car. You smell, right? So people buy cars for smell. I've heard that. I don't buy things for emotion. I don't get. I mean, things like that. I don't get into there for emotion. I get it like for the utility of it.
It's just the fact that you know that you're the first person to live in this place or to drive this car. There's something about that, right?
Yeah, and the fact that you probably. Some of the things that are being used in the house are kind of modern. Yeah. Speaking to the current day and time.
Exactly. Designs and everything.
Designs, aesthetics, upgrades. So it kind of gives it's kind of very beautiful, to be honest. Right. And the other thing is the fact that you could pick and choose in terms of the features you want. There's going to come at additional cost. Right. But it's going to be like a cost advantage. Look at the plus and minus. And then you could just you've had a dream. You probably saw a house in Miami, or you saw a particular house in, Texas or wherever. You just want to replicate. And you kind of this is kind of my dream home, right? You have that flexibility. Now the question is, architecturally, from a design, is there some flexibility around it?
Are you talking of the exterior part of the property?
Yeah.
So usually what builders will have is they have different models that you can pick from. So they'll have, the short answer is no. No. Because there's a certain characteristics that they want for that neighborhood or that subdivision, right? So the best they would give you is maybe 3 or 4 options of to say, okay, this is the model A. Maybe this has this is brick and maybe a little bit of stucco on top. Or this is vinyl. This is vinyl and a little bit of brick at the top. Or this is just all brick, more traditional style. Or this is just a more modern style with like wood panels. Yeah. So they give you those different options and you can just pick from one of those options. But to change the exterior in terms of the materials, no.
So what about the interior? The architectural design of the interior, is it also flexible?
Some things are, some things are not.
Okay.
Right, some things are. So the reason for that is because as much as you want to customize the house to your taste, water pipes have to run through somewhere.
And they've built the structure from the architectural design.
If not, they have to go back to their architects or their engineers to start redirecting pipes and all that, and that's not feasible for them. So some things are not. The things that you can change are things like your flooring. They'll change that for you easily, right? As an additional cost, right? Things like, what else?
What if what I'm choosing is cheaper? Does it ever happen?
So the builder has a standard that they give.
Minimum standard.
A minimum standard.
So you can't go, I mean, they can't go lower.
No, they can't
You're
go
probably
lower
going to have to
standard.
go higher.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. There's no room for it to go lower. It's only higher. So if you choose not to spend anything at all, you just get the standard, right? Standard light fixtures, standard door heights. In fact, these days now, standard, but then it's changing now, standard ceiling heights.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
The regular
like
9 inches.
Exactly. So the regular height is about 8 feet.
Yeah.
Now builders are setting like 9,
11
feet. Exactly. Yeah. So that's like a sellable feature for people now. The other thing is things like your lighting. Like, do you want recessed lighting like pot lights or just like the regular builder grade lights, right? Your fixtures for your faucets in the kitchen, in the bathroom.
Those shiny, gold plated.
Exactly.
Metallic, all this other stuff.
Exactly. All that as well. What else did they charge for? They charge for the different things.
Like in your own property, you have like the inbuilt speakers.
So that was like an upgrade as well, right? In fact, that wasn't done by the builder. They just refer you to a company that does things like that.
But they can accommodate it within the building process.
But you need to let them know so they can run the electrical wiring for that beforehand, right?
So you have to. So whatever you want, whatever interior upgrades you want to do, a modification that is within acceptable limits, you have to let them know.
Absolutely.
Because when they build, they have levels to say because they have to bring the government officials to come in and check,
everything is to code
before they move to the code. Yeah. Exactly. So you have to let them know so they can not like probably when we are almost done, say, oh no. So I moved this one, this way. They probably look at you like.
So what happens is once you put down all the deposits, and this is still talking about pre-construction, then they call you in for a consultation, right?
Yeah.
This is where you choose like the floor, like a whole experience. You sit you down, you go with clients, you choose the flooring you want, the cabinet colors, countertop, is it granite or is it like quartz or is it just regular vinyl for that? Even something as simple as, for instance, some houses, when you get into the house, remember how you see like tiles first?
Yeah.
And then after the tiles, you now see like vinyl flooring.
The floor.
So for instance, you can tell them that you don't want those tiles in front. You just want it to be
all the way.
Laminate
floor.
Exactly. So depending on what your taste is, right? You can basically customize the house to your taste. I think that's the long and short of it. But there's a cost attached to that as well.
No, I like that. Yeah. I like that. I mean, the fact that it's brand new, I won't stop emphasizing on the fact that everything is bling bling.
Even the equipment in the kitchen as well, right? There's a base equipment they give you. Like for instance, they might give you like a single door fridge. A family of 5, a single door fridge will not take all the things they need to put in there. So you definitely need to upgrade that to like a double door fridge, right? And then, so things like that.
But one thing that is so annoying to me, is the fact that what is Canada with all these popcorn ceiling?
Popcorn.
I just
if you
don't
want
get it.
smooth ceilings are an upgrade.
Okay, so maybe to explain, popcorn ceiling. Popcorn ceiling that for some of you probably, just look up. Try and look just look up right now and be sure that you don't have popcorn ceiling. So popcorn ceiling are those ceilings that have like stoning feel.
Like they look like rough.
They look like rough.
Yeah.
They're not smooth. That's popcorn. And it's kind of very, very common. Maybe when we get into
it's cheaper.
Into resale, right? We'll talk about that. I think most homes that you're going to find that are resale said they're probably been upgraded by the current owner are probably going to come in popcorn, and it's so annoying.
But some people don't care. Some people like I don't really look up that much. What's the big deal? It matters to you, but it doesn't matter to someone else.
I'm just kind of like, the last time I saw things like this, we're like
in the 80s or something.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of worried. Like, what's this?
Yeah, so that's something. So those are things that you should definitely think of. And you guys should definitely write. He's dropping gems.
Yeah.
So something as simple as popcorn ceilings, and you have to weigh up because at the end of the day, right? You have a pre-approval amount that the bank has already given you. So choosing your upgrades,
we can work around it. These are very, very small things.
You need to be strategic, right? So check what upgrades are very important to you. If you care about the ceiling height, do that. If you care about popcorn ceilings, do that. If you care about the kind of appliances you get, you don't want electric stove, you want like a gas stove, do that, right? Because what people do is sometimes people get carried away.
They get very emotional.
Because the builder might give you like maybe like a $5,000 or $10,000 credit. To use to pick upgrades, but anything outside of that credit, then it's up to you. In some cases, builders will not even give you they won't give you air conditioning. There's a builder in Oshawa that did that before. They'll put a furnace, but there's no AC.
Then you have to get that yourself.
You have to get the AC yourself.
If you want it,
yes,
additional costs.
Exactly. So you need to consider that as well.
You know what's so funny to me now that you're talking about is the fact that, I mean, I'm buying a brand new house. Mm-hmm. I have an expectation that is brand new. You
might just get it,
and then you get in, and I mean, you won't get too disappointed, right?
If you're working with us, you won't.
You won't get. You won't get a disappointment. Disappointed. But one thing I've also noticed that is kind of a little bit shocking is the fact that when they are done building, right? Like they say it's finished, everything is ready, but you still find that it's, like the flooring outside of the exterior part of the house is yet to be graded. Because for me, I'm thinking, it's a brand new house, and I'm I'm walking to a brand new neighborhood. All of a sudden, the day I'm moving in, I mean, my car is already flooded with dust. Right, the roads are yet to be tiled, or even some are tiled.
Your landscaping.
My landscaping is not done yet, and I'm kind of like, it's not like a good experience. So, is this something that you can talk about, or your focus is only on your property?
That's a tricky question because there are different factors that might cause that. One of which is sometimes I'm not sure if this is the reason, but I'm just assuming here, right? Because sometimes they are waiting for the house to settle.
Yeah.
Before they do anything in the front area of the house.
Okay. Which is similar to the basement, right?
Exactly. So they tell you for the first 1 year you can't finish your basement because houses will still settle, and then because if you start finishing your basement, you notice that there might be cracks or things down there. So just leave it for 1 year to just settle because it's still a building, right? At the end of the day, and then you can now start working on it. So I'm not sure if the exterior work is about that, or due to the fact that usually because we're in Canada, majority of the building is done during summer.
Okay.
By the time they are finishing, it's already winter.
Winter already.
And then you don't have the sunlight, or you don't have the luxury of watering your grass and all that throughout that time period before. If not, it's just going to damage everything that they've installed.
So that could be it's a good thing to keep in mind that you may not have all those things.
No, you won't have. Yeah, we had one that we bought for a client where this was not a good experience, to be honest, because they did not have a garage door. But this was just after COVID. So they didn't have a garage door because they had a backlog of supplies.
Oh, okay.
And then winter happened. I'm like, client did not have a garage door. Yeah. And snow went in. Luckily for them, it didn't damage the interior of the garage, but that was a thing as well, right? So
yeah. So which is where the choice of the builder is very, very important when choosing a builder. Which is why we know builders that have done this over and over a time. They have a high taste. They deliver as expected, no cut corners and all those things, right? Yeah. So interesting, something you said I wanted to touch on was the fact that, when you want to do those upgrades, so this is my $1, advice is sit down, look at the things that are very critical to you, because we said that it's based on your pre-approval.
Yes.
Right? We don't want you spending money.
You have a budget already.
You have a budget, and maybe just look at those things that you feel that actually had value to the house.
Right.
Don't get too emotional about I like this, I like that. It's about point. Me. I just think about what do you think can add value to the house.
Future value.
Adding
a separate entrance so you can do that now.
Yeah, as against spending. I mean, if you have a refrigerator, maybe you have a preference for Frigidaire, or have a preference for Samsung, or have a preference for Philips. Like honestly, to me, this thing really doesn't matter. Right. I'm not sure anyone is probably going to buy. I mean, people do have sentiments with those things. Yeah, but look, just do the pros and cons. I mean, the make of the refrigerator is as important as having a basement. That will make additional income to the home. So I have $30 to spend. $30K.
Or upgrading from a 4-bedroom to a 5-bedroom.
To a 5-bedroom.
Because they can add an additional room for you.
Absolutely.
I remember they give clients that option. You want to add like a room over the garage, and you might be like, oh, well, do I need an additional room or not? But in the long run, now your house is like if every other person's property is like a 4-bedroom house, yours is now a 5-bedroom house.
Yeah. So it's like doing your dollar cost averaging to look at what really is of value to you. So I have $30,000 to spend that I can still have room to accommodate.
Yes.
What is the most important thing
that
I need to spend it on, as against emotional spending that probably you only enjoy them. But when it comes to resale value, they won't make much of a difference in terms of the value. And you spend $30,000, you probably have spent on something else.
And to that point, I would say, unless it's your forever house, meaning like the house that you see yourself and your family living and growing up, like you don't plan on moving anymore, right? I would say people be wary with over customization. To your point,
because things get outdated.
Exactly. So, for instance, you imagine someone wanting to paint like the house like all red. Painting is even easy. That's an easy fix. You can always paint over that. What's a feature that maybe used to be popular, but now backsplash, for instance, the backsplash in the kitchen. At some time there was these things they call like subway tiles that were in the kitchen. Everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
And then after some time, people started doing like these herringbone ones where it's like everything's pointing upwards.
It's pointing,
yeah. So just things like that. Like
things
don't
are changing.
over customize. At some point, some designs start to look outdated. and then you won't start because you're going to live in this house for a while, so you want to like and love your space and where you're living.
I think I mean that makes a lot of sense. The other truth is the fact that there's so much to say about pre-construction.
There's a lot. Yeah,
I mean, we haven't even spoken about tariff warranty.
Yeah,
you know, that you get, and people might say, "What's tariff warranty?"
Yeah, so that's just there's a body that governs all new construction builds. Actually, this is a very key point that we can't even scale over. Before I even get into that, it's still under Tarion. A builder got in trouble recently because the builder was not registered with Tarion.
Oh wow!
And collected money from people to build. This was in Barry, very recently. This is very recently. So the first step is, even before you go into sign any contract with any builder, speak with us, reach out to us, or with the real estate lawyer. You need to know if that builder is Tarion registered or covered. The reason for that is this. Tarion that Joe speaks about is there are different things in the house, like let's say the plumbing, the electrical work, or the structure of the building, right? Because it's a new building, by new build regulations or whatever, you're covered for the first 1 year for some things like flooring. Like if anything happens, even after you bought the house and you moved in, if anything happens within the year, you can call the builder back to say, hey, there's something wrong with this, come and fix it. Same thing with electrical as well, has its own thing. Plumbing has its own timeline as well. So if you end up with a builder that is not registered, and imagine there's something wrong with a structure that you bought for almost 800 or 900,000, what happens?
You get into trouble.
Because that cost is now on you as the buyer, right? Because you bought from a builder, or you didn't do your due diligence to find out if this builder was Tarion registered. So that's the key thing about Tarion. All builders are not equal.
Yeah. And that's something like, that's a huge benefit.
Yep.
For pre-construction. And you might wonder like, oh, it's a new property, nothing's going to go wrong. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, something could. I mean,
as a matter of fact, if you ask me, I actually do feel that new properties stand a higher chance of risk of things going wrong compared to a resale. Yeah.
Because resale is likely someone has lived there before.
Someone has lived there, probably done renovations. The biggest challenge or the biggest issue that could ever happen in the house has happened. So you're probably going to find, maybe worst case could be just all these. I mean, oftentimes with detached homes, for example, or semi-detached, resale, Adley is probably upgrades, probably is hold, plumbing, things like that, because people know they want to sell.
Yes.
So there's that psychology for buyers, for sellers, right? It's either they are selling as it is, and they tell you this is what it is.
Take it as it is.
Any issues with plumbing, electrical is what it is. Or maybe the panels are not upgraded to the new panel style.
Right.
It's still like in copper. They tell you take it as it is. So you basically can see what it is.
Right.
Now, with the pre-construction, right? I feel like with the old push of getting things done quicker, right?
And the timeline,
right? There's a high risk of
missing something.
Things,
I see
right?
your point.
Again, but if you work with credible builders, you have time to come in and do your inspection before the release date, the handover date.
Yeah, there's what they call there's a pre-delivery inspection.
Yeah,
that's before you. I have a funny story about that. I remember when I was doing my real estate training, the licensing program that we do, there was the facilitator told a story about talking about pre-construction where an individual bought a condominium and there was no bathroom in the condo.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So there was no bathroom in the condo. Why? It's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny because So they went to the like, there's no bathroom in this unit, because maybe that means somebody skipped their pre-delivery inspection. They just thought, well.
I can't close my mouth.
Yeah,
I'm caught in
real life. There was a condo. Yeah.
So what happened?
I don't know how. Are they
going to pull out the entire building?
I don't know how that ended, but there was no bathroom. Yeah, so that can be a huge.
I think I'll probably go back and read that story. I really want to know,
because remember these guys, they are building, especially for condos, is a high likelihood of that happening. Why? They are building a 20-something tower building with over 200 units.
Yeah,
mistakes happen. It's a crazy mistake, but mistakes happen.
If you ask me,
mistakes happen.
I think they'll probably close that unit down.
I don't know what happened there.
Probably turn into storage or
literally,
something.
there was no bathroom. There was no bathroom in the condo. So that speaks to pre-delivery inspection.
Or maybe they could then. I mean, was it that the space wasn't created, or they didn't just because I'm honestly, thinking,
I don't know
if it's a space. I mean, if it was like it wasn't completed, it wasn't done, they could come in and get it done. But if it's like they didn't create the space at
there was
all.
the way he made it sound was as if there was no bathroom. There was just kitchen, and the person was excited. And the person was like, we realized where will I shower?
I'd like to see how that story ends, because probably my assumption is they probably just shut that unit down.
And a great tip for buyers is this. I didn't realize this until later on in my career, is that what people actually do is they take a home inspector, even for a new build property.
Yeah, not bad.
Usually clients don't want to spend that money because they're thinking it's a new, like you just said, it's a new property. Why am I spending like an additional 400 or 500 just to see what I already know? No, take a home inspector.
Yeah, it will. I mean, few dollars.
They might point out some things that you might not even think about, but you know some things that you see in your house sometimes. I have that in my house, as I'm sure you do as well. You just look at it and just upsets you that.
Yeah.
Why did the builder do this? Why did it stop?
Does it make any sense?
Exactly. So stuff like that, maybe a home inspector can catch that at that point in time, right? And if possible, they might make a change or not. But yeah, let's take a home inspector there.
I kind of feel like we need to do a full session,
right?
On pre-construction. Get a video to people, show them what it looks like, from like start to finish, in kind of like, look at the environment. It's still, this is what the production looks like. Right. Foundations are still, you can see the pipes still coming up. And then this is what it's going to look like, because sometimes it looks kind of messy when it's done. It's dusty. I remember one of my clients recently, we went to one of his property and he was wondering, like, everywhere is dusty. They probably didn't, and they were handing over. All the documents, and everywhere is still done. So you might have to still do some cleaning.
And that was a condo, right? Yeah,
a condo.
I know some cases that was even good, because I've been in condos where even the flooring or the elevator is not done. I'm sure most of them.
I had a client that got
in there, like things are not done.
You still find wood on the elevator.
Exactly.
The floors are not even completed yet.
Yeah, because for them, once the builder gets the permit from the city to say this place is habitable, they have everything checked off. They can just let you move in. Because they know people are anxious to move in. Because I think my pre-construction too, everyone gets like super. They are going to see. Look at the property.
They're paying rent. They don't want to pay rent anymore.
Exactly.
They want to get into it. Exactly. I think a tip for you, for today to take away, is the fact that for pre-construction is, don't get too emotional. Think about working with a good builder.
Yes.
And most time people feel like, I don't need a pre-con.
And a good realtor, even before the builder.
Yeah. People always say, I don't need a realtor for pre-con. Yeah. I think that's another conversation.
Because, to be fair, right? It's the difference between, so let's assume you're selling a car, a brand new car, you as a person now. And let's say should we mention a brand?
No.
Okay. You're selling a brand new car, right? I can as well go directly to the dealership.
Yeah.
Or I can come to you.
Yeah.
Right?
So, but that's different. A car house is different.
In what sense?
So with a house, so with a car, there's no contract. There's no clauses. There's no.
You sign.
No closing.
If you're financing.
But there's no closing dates. There's no closing fee.
True.
Very less legal. The construction of a car purchase is basic for anyone to be able to really understand. So I can't remember if I read.
You probably did it.
It's probably very straightforward. I'm buying a car. I'm financing. I'm buying outright, right? It's a base of cost and what it is, the value, what is being covered. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Now with a house, it's very, very different, because I'll give a very good example. What if you don't have the opportunity to, what do we call this? If you can't close and you want to sell to someone,
assign the assignment clause.
Yeah, there's something called assignment clause.
Yeah,
right. You don't have that with a car. So
and people don't know that.
And people do. Assignment clause means that you don't want to proceed anymore, because when you're buying a pre-con, it's an assumption that you're going to be, it is you that they're dealing with you,
right,
till the closing date.
Yes,
and then you're going to be the one. After closing, you can do whatever you like.
True.
But the bank, the builder is guaranteed that you're going to close with them. They'll get their money.
Right.
But in between, anything could happen. Maybe you're not interested. Maybe
you have to relocate. Or something.
Life circumstance could show up, and you don't want the property anymore. There could be a clause that prohibits you from assigning that property to someone else.
But you could have negegotiated that in from the beginning.
From the beginning to say, yes, we want an assignment clause. Yeah. So you can say it's kind of very, very different. That's number one.
Oh, true.
Number two, with a pre-construction, there's always room for inflation, for the price to change.
Developmental charges,
right? That could change. So you're going in at 800. between things happen, they could tell you, some things inflation has happened. There's a cost that has gone up on some things.
But you could have locked that in from the beginning as well.
You can lock that, but if you don't even know, right? So you can see it's very, very different. And in some cases, they will even tell you that legally we're going to agree that we can't go beyond this percentage of say 2%, 3%, right? And then you're fine. People get money back from pre-construction. I had a friend that got the money back.
Nice.
Like after closing, he was able to. The builder was nice enough. I think the proper to return some money just to So you can see that it's completely very. I'm just giving another example.
Yeah.
Now another thought thing I'm thinking that I'm also aware of with construction is the time of delivery. So we could tell you we're going to deliver to you in January 21st.
I wish.
And as far as you're concerned, you've told your landlord that your head is not correct.
If you won't slap your landlord twice.
It's like, get out.
I bought a property.
I'm going to be like you, And then 2 months later, your bidder tells you, unfortunately, we need to extend it for another 6 months. Yeah, you be amazed. Check your contract. It's there.
They're allowed to move it.
They're allowed to move it as many times as possible.
There's a final time that they can't move it past.
Yeah,
but they have to pay you at that point.
For any cost.
Even the amount they are paying you is almost insignificant.
So do you agree it's different now?
Yes, it's different actually.
It's very, very different.
There are a lot more risk factors, I would say.
Yeah. So people just feel that they don't need the realtor. The builder, will do what they have to do. Right. But the onus is on you to read. But people don't read. And you don't even understand because some of those things are used in real estate terminologies that you won't understand what it means, right? But if you work with a realtor, and mind you, you're not the one paying. So for me, that's the way I see. Why won't I use a realtor?
True, you have nothing to lose.
I have nothing to lose. I'm not paying the realtor.
That's
right?
actually very, very.
But I'm going to get a guarantee of getting things done properly. Even the price, they could help you negotiate. Look at the fact that you probably won't have that skill to negotiate.
To see if the price you are getting is a fair price.
Is a fair price.
Builder giving you more value for that same
for property, even much more size, So there's a whole lot of intricacy that kind of makes it very, very different. Absolutely. Completely they are different yards apart in terms of the risk involved. For a car, there's no risk involved. I walk into a dealer store, pick a car,
you drop it.
That's it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So for pre-construction, would you say? And now, I think now with government is putting out a lot of incentives for people to buy pre-construction as well. So I think now is if there's a time to buy pre-construction.
Even builders are giving a lot of incentives. People are giving out. I heard of a builder is giving out cars.
Yes.
If you buy, they'll give you. Yeah. They'll give you a car.
Yes.
Or some tell you we'll finish your basement for you.
Yes. Especially now, builders are bending over for clients now because there's a lot of inventory on the market and things have been stagnant for a while now. So whatever way they need, like I said, they're not in the business of holding properties.
No. They'll always make their money, whatever it is. Even if it's like just some few dollars, thousands of dollars there, it's still gonna, make a lot of profit for them at the end of the day.
So now is a good time to think about pre-construction if that's a priority for you and your family.
Okay, great.
We didn't touch on resale.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on our next episode.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
because resale is like we spoke about it like the other time about the end-to-end transaction.
But it does have its own pros and cons as well.
It does.
Right on top of my head, I can give 1,000,001 reasons why I don't want to go for a resale. And why I want to go for a resale.
Can you give me? Okay, so what are the cons of pre-construction? Because I know we've spoken about the advantages. What are the negatives of pre-construction? I think you just mentioned the timing thing. The fact that they can push it down.
They can push it down. Oh my God. So depending on what you're thinking to do with it, either you're thinking to as an investor or even to live in it.
I know you're going.
The market can change.
Yeah.
And the price you are buying for, by the time you want to close, you go to the bank. The bank will have to do the assessment value
at that time.
Do a value of the house. Let's say you bought with the builder for $1 million. That's what you've signed, and you want to get to the bank, and the bank is saying, "Oh, we've looked at the current market of this same kind of house is currently 800.
Yeah,
200K deficit.
That's on you.
You have to close.
Yeah. What does someone do in that situation?
Talk to Jesus. And the finisher of your faith.
Yeah, you might need to get if you can find a private lender to give you money.
And honestly, I think oftentimes it goes back to the builder, which is why I think when you work with a realtor, right, there are builders that we know that they are very they are customer centric. They think about
price, the additional price. Yes. True.
And some don't. Because it's a lot of pain for you to get to that situation. And then the bank is saying they can't finance you.
But you know what I tell people? I tell people that, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, that's right.
I tell people that save for the closing, like oversave for the closing if possible.
Absolutely.
Did you get even though let's say you bought for 700, for instance, you already put down like 100,000, so you have 600,000 left. God forbid the price drops to like 650. Why not
still fine.
Just keep saving like an additional, like maybe like under 50K somewhere. I don't know how you get it, or even if it's just a line of credit that you have on the side. Do you get let that, because that's still a better situation than taking on the whole stress of you're now looking for 50 and you're asking this friend, that friend, and you might have great friends, which is amazing as well, but it's just to save yourself all that stress. Just over save if possible.
And I tell people that, I mean, for me, one of my key rule with my clients is the fact that you don't have to maximize your affordability.
Yeah, but in GTA, you know what house prices are saying though.
Because if I'm qualified for a 1.2 million naira house, right, I don't want to get too excited.
Did you say naira?
Oh, sorry, 1.2 million dollars. I'm so much in love with that currency for whatever reason, right? Maybe because it's low. So
yeah, true. That house is 1,200. I mean,
yeah.
1,200
so
Canadian dollars.
So, I mean, I don't think I want to personally. That's my own personal philosophy, right? I don't think I want to exhaust it. I want to leave room, particularly for pre-construction. But I want to leave some room.
But what if the area you want to live in, that's the prices demand that it demands in that neighborhood? That's why you to live in that neighborhood.
So because it's not my forever, it's not my forever home, right? Like there will always be better houses. I will always go for something. Like life is not going to. I won't remain the same way I am.
True.
Right? Things are always going to get better. Right? So I would think more of edging myself against all of those things we're talking about. You want to close, and then the value of the house has dropped. You know, I'll probably, if I'm qualified for a 1.2 million naira house, the question is, can I get something around 1 million, 1 million 50, 1 million? So funny enough, we talk about these numbers a lot. You'll be amazed that 1 million 70 and 1 million and 1.1 makes a lot of difference. That 30K can change a lot of things in negotiation. Yeah. Right? Because you see some household that you see very, very funny numbers. 1 million
25,000,
25, and you wonder like, what? It makes a lot of difference. Even in your qualification with the bank.
It does. Yeah. It does.
Yeah. Bank will not, I mean, they won't waive it if you're probably like 20,000, less of what ordinarily you should be qualified for. Yeah. Right? So I think for me, I just try to make sure that is there any way we can leave some room, for my affordability, even if I'm approved for 1.2 million.
Yeah, you don't have to use it.
I don't have to. But people get very excited, right? And they just feel like, 1.2, okay, that's fine. And they keep going around looking for a house of 1.2 million house. Now the house could be beautiful, it could be worth the 1.2, but the question is, do I have to? Do I need to get a 1.2 million house now?
Yeah, maybe only the buyer can decide that.
Work with a good realtor. Yeah, we'll sit down. We don't just want to sell. We just want to buy. We want to, get you to that financial knowledge,
right?
Because again, it's a relationship we're creating.
Yep.
Right, and then it's not going to end in just one property.
Absolutely.
We want to help you get the best out of your finances. Like I always tell people,
buy your primary residence, get you your next investment
property, repeat the same thing.
Speaking about the investment property, can we speak to the fact that there's a GST involved? Because that happened to your client, right?
Yeah.
Can you, if you don't mind explaining that situation about the GST involved? Like if you're living in the house for yourself, you don't pay that GST on closing for a pre-construction. Yeah. But if it is an investment property, then you have to pay GST basally.
Yeah, because the government says that you're making that it's not like a business.
Exactly.
Right. So they're treating like a business.
So you have to pay an additional amount
on closing.
But people don't know that sometimes.
And people don't know. They just it can go up to like 25,000, 30,000.
Yep.
Depending on the kind of value of the house you're buying. Whereas people are getting that GST back. You'll be sure that builders are getting that GST back.
No, they always get it back.
And they push it on you, and you go, oh my God. There's a whole, like, pre-construction is like, it's not what we can capture all of it. We've just given a tidbit of it. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into it that you need, even for the investment part of it is also a very different thing entirely. If you're going to invest and you want to be honest, like, I'm going to invest, right? There's a whole lot of information you need to
know upfront.
It's kind of very deep. And again, it's about the dollar. In terms of by the close, and you won't get to see these things at the very beginning. It's always at the closing time. That's the funny thing,
because in the beginning you're still it's just the thought of I'm buying. Because at that point in time, all you have is really a piece of paper to go with, right?
Yeah, like that's why I call it promissory note.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's a promissory note. It's a house on paper.
But there's something you said in the beginning about how it's a very, very tricky industry, and the reason for that is, think about this: if we try to understand the value chain, of real estate, about how pre-construction is super, super lucrative for investors, right? The value chain of real estate. If you're buying just bare land, that's like risk. Because you are buying that land in the hopes that maybe government is going to put things
some
around
development, some
and then at some point,
it.
a land you bought for 100,000 now will now be maybe 300,000 2 years down the line. But that's a risk. You don't know if governments can't easily change their plans, right? So that's a risk. The next level of the value chain is now pre-construction.
Yeah.
Which is the builder takes on this risk to build. The builder is building, they are selling it, they've gone to get all the approvals from the city. They've employed architects, they've paid the marketing firm to develop the brochures, and they have to trust that you as builders or we as agents will bring them buyers.
I call it crowdfunding.
They don't have buyers yet. Exactly. They have no buyers. So you see why, so that's risk as well.
Yeah.
When it's already built, the risk is a little bit less because now someone can walk into the property and feel the walls and say, oh, I like this house. So that's the whole value chain of real estate.
It's a value chain.
The higher the risk on this side, the higher the reward.
Yeah.
By the time it's already built, most likely
I
the
think
lower the reward.
that's a general, investment principle,
Philosophy,
right?
yeah.
Like even for business, the higher the risk from an investment perspective, the higher the reward, right? Low risk, definitely low reward.
Because I say that to just reemphasize the point that people lost a lot of money on pre-construction, in the sense that they put down huge down payments, but they had no plan, no exit strategy of, okay, we're putting down 100,000 or 80,000. How are we closing this property in 2 years?
Yeah.
Am I planning on getting a job? Because some people were self-employed, right?
Yeah. And
so they just thought, I'm expecting cash at this point in time. I knew someone that lost like 2 properties.
Wow.
He lost 2. Yeah, he lost 2. A condo in Mississauga and a house where I think was like in Kitchener or something.
Wow.
Yeah, he lost 2 because it wasn't my client. I just got the phone call, just to be clear, please. But I just got.
We did a good job.
Yeah, I just got the phone call that this is the situation I'm in.
Let's find a way out.
What can I do, right? We try to connect him with private lenders as well. But even a private lender, if the appraisal, if you bought it for 100,000, the appraisal is now 800. There's only so much because you're asking the private lender to enter a bad deal, a house that's already like negative 200,000.
Yeah.
So
and they're looking at you like, how do you intend to offset that?
Yeah. So
right?
yeah, that was.
Which is why I think as much as it's very pre-con is very, like we call it, is very, very good.
It's
the brand new, it's rewarding from an investment perspective. I think oftentimes for an investment perspective, I think it looks better for me for investments, right? Because either way, you'll find a way out because you know that this is like there's a future goal for it, right?
For it, right.
But for a family home, like you want to live in it, I think do your due diligence very, very well.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you might have to sit down and actually study the market itself. I'm talking about not the outside market. I'm talking about the economy itself, the country economy. Be able to you can't predict, but things happen in circle. Like we know inflation, recession, like stagflation. Like it's like it's a curve. Like it goes up, it comes up, right? So you might be very fortunate to be able to do a study and look at okay, is it a good time? Because again, there's not every time is good for pre-construction.
Yeah, but I know, us realtors sometimes we shout, "Oh, now is the time, best time to buy."
Yeah, because the reality, you might be going to pre-construction when the market is
at its
peak, and of course, the next level for the peak is
coming down.
Is going to, and by the time you're closing is when it's coming down.
Yeah, it's coming down.
And maybe you are predicting that if I buy for 700, I'll be able to. I want to sell for 1,800,000.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Or think of the fact that when you sign the contract, imagine someone that signed a contract in 2020, 2021, when interest rates were like 1.5.
Interest rate, yeah, exactly.
But because the pre-construction, the property did not close until 2023,
where the rates are up,
and the rates already are like 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
Now you can't qualify for the mortgage. So
yeah,
get expert advice.
Honestly,
on your real estate journey.
Yeah, I mean, on your real estate journey, trust me, we're a one-stop shop. We just want to help. We just want to give the education, get people out of trouble. It's a good investment. Real estate is beautiful.
Yeah.
As it is said, lands are not being created. The best way to build long-term wealth is through real estate. However, it has to be done thoughtfully.
Yeah. it's a lot of people. you have thinking about.
So people hate real estate because of their experience. They've had very bad experience.
I've had people tell me. Every time I have a conversation about pre-construction, we say pre-construction. No, don't try.
It's like they have an hamper on it.
Because they know somebody that lost. Do you get? But I always ask the question. Okay, who advised this person?
Exactly.
And in most cases, people just walked into the builder's office.
Yeah.
Because it looked nice. They had everything set up. And those builders, they're like,
they're business guys.
I mean, you can't blame them because they are there to sell the product, right?
I'm not looking at even just salespeople.
Yeah.
They may not even have so much of knowledge about like the end-to-end, the risk involved, like the way we're analyzing and paralyzing now.
They're just trying to get a product
Do you
out of the
understand?
door. Just a product.
So this is why I tell people that you're not the one paying. Just see it as a free service, a free professional service, like a free top-notch service you're getting from a realtor if you are buying.
I'll end with this finance scenario. I had a client that bought last year. He was going to buy a pre-construction. Right? This was in London. I won't say it was in London. Wow. London, Ontario. He was going to buy a pre-construction. He drove there, got there already. He already had the deposit check in his pocket, right? But he sends me an email. He's like, "Oh, NASA, this is what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of buying this property. What do you think?" And I don't get a commission off it. I don't get anything off it, right? Because that particular builder does not, and not every builder pays commissions to agents, right? So, but I just give my personal advice. Oh, this is what I see about this thing. Ask them this question, ask them this question, ask them this question. Because you need to ask them the question. Like, for instance, can I, like what Joe said, can I assign this property on closing? Yeah. Can I cap the developmental charges at 10,000?
Yeah.
Questions like that. Are there any additional fees? Because remember, things that have like parcel of title land fees or condo fees at the end, right? You need to factor that in because that also ties into your closing. Ties into your whatever mortgage you're paying at the end of the day. So he got there, and then I think the issue that we found with that one was it was a condo townhouse, but they couldn't assign him a parking spot.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's not their fault as well. Maybe that's based on the city or whatever. But they're just thinking to themselves that why would we buy a property for almost 600,
and then we can't get a parking
spot? You can't tell me that. Because he's like, oh, the parking in front of your house might not be your own spot.
Yeah.
He's like, what was that? Like, why is that not my parking spot? I don't know why that's the case with that particular builder, but he's like, nah, it doesn't just sit well. He just left. And we ended up getting them a resale property in St. Catharines.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I just give them the advice, just saying, this is everything. You, at the end of the day, we can just inform you.
Yeah.
Make your decision. This is just what we're seeing about this. Just be careful. And he made decisions like, you know what, I don't want to do this. And then he just bought a resale. Yeah.
So, I mean, so it's very important. As much as, the pros are very beautiful, right? I mean, I like it. Just think about it very well. Like, even for your entire real estate transaction, not just even for, like, once you just hear real estate, don't think about, like, the profit or how it's an investment. Critically analyze, critically paralyze, if you know what I mean. Paralyze, I mean, be very sure that, it makes a lot of sense for you, which is why you don't want to, just get just work with YRJ.
Get us on board.
I mean, we just want to give you that information and help you make a right decision.
Okay? Even location-wise as well, I see people buying with builders like in just one remote location. Like what? There's nothing. There's no Walmart. There's nothing here unless you know about something special coming here. Like, why are you going that far?
Wow. Yeah. And my final thought is property tax.
You kind of don't even know how much it is.
It's not. I mean, it's not. There's no assessment because as a matter of fact, if it's a new area, it's even worse because they haven't done anything. Everything is estimation, right? So what the bidder has given is an estimation. By the time they are done, when you have to do a reassessment, and then the city will tell you what. So again, you don't have an idea. You don't know what the cost. So you're just thinking about your mortgage. Yeah. Right, of maybe $4,000, whatever the dollar amount is, but then you haven't factored in.
Like there's a bill coming.
There's a bill coming
the following year. So you need to keep that in mind. That's actually a good catch.
And funny enough, the higher your house value, the area beautiful the area is with amenities, the higher your property tax. Because they need those money to keep take care of those beautiful things you saw. Yeah. That you like. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I think that was a great session on pre-construction.
Yeah.
I mean, we gave as much value as we could. Once again,
I mean, if you want to know more,
subscribe. Please, our ask is that you share this with someone as well. Your immediate circle, people that have been having conversations with you about buying real estate as well. Please share with them as well. Like we said in the beginning, our aim and our goal for this is to help the everyday Canadian build wealth through real estate. So it's Nasser.
And it's Joe. See you on the next episode.
Catch you next time, guys. Take care.
On your YRJ Podcast.
The YRJ Podcast. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
At the same time. At the same time, you have to go.
I kept hearing a beeping sound.
Yeah, I think it's his microwave or something. Are you ready?